Good morning, students. In this video, I have brought another very intriguing problem of mechanics. In this problem, we'll see how we can calculate radial and tangential component of acceleration for a particle moving in arbitrary curvilinear path. So we will do the derivation of this standard result and we'll illustrate it using a very nice and tricky problem. As you can see the figure of the problem, the physical situation of the problem is somewhat similar to a, a very famous problem given in work energy theorem topic of mechanics of I.E. Rodo. Although the problems are entirely different, both the problems are entirely different. So without any further delay, let us move on to the problem statement. So as you can see, this problem uh, has a cylinder, a fixed cylinder. So I am reading problem statement. The figure shows a fixed cylinder of radius capital R kept on the floor. A large massless and inextensible string of length LO or L0 is wrapped over the circumference of the string. So as you can see here, this is a fixed cylinder of radius R and there is a string, a large string which is wrapped over this cylinder. One end of the string is tied to a particle of mass m. So basically the string is wrapped over this cylinder and the length of the unwrapped part is L0 and the end of the unwrapped part is attached to a particle of mass m. So this length is L0 and this particle's mass is m. At the initial moment, the particle is given an impulse due to which it acquires a velocity Vo perpendicular to the thread as shown. So as you can see in this figure, at the initial moment, the particle is given an impulse due to which it acquires a velocity v0. And this v0 is perpendicular to the thread. Assuming that there is no friction anywhere and string remains taut, calculate the net acceleration of point P shown in figure on the string at this instant. So we have to assume that there is no friction anywhere. And we also have to assume that string is inextensible and it remains taut. And using these assumptions, we have to calculate net acceleration of the point P. Point P is at a distance x from immediate point of contact. So, as you can see in here, my positive x direction is towards right and my positive y direction is the vertically upward direction. So, I have to find the vector using I cap and j cap, the acceleration vector using I cap and j cap in terms of unit vectors along positive x direction and positive y direction. So at this moment I want all of you to please pause this video and try to solve this problem on your own. Okay, the problem is very interesting and I think even good students will struggle to solve this problem initially, but if you apply your concepts properly, then the problem can be solved. It is not unsolvable kind of problem and not a very difficult or very mathematical problem. The problem can be solved, but it will require a decent amount of effort. So let us now see the solution of this problem. So now as you can see in this figure, uh, we can divide the entire string into two parts. The first part is the wrapped part of the string which is in contact with the cylinder, and second part is the unwrapped part. So I have shown wrapped part with this blue line and unwrapped part with this black line at the initial instant. So it is given an initial velocity v0. Okay. The wrapped part at any instant is in contact with the cylinder and is at rest, whereas the unwrapped part is moving. So the particle is moving with a velocity v0, and in fact all these particles on this unwrapped part, all these particles, thread particles on this unwrapped part, they are also moving, and their direction of motion is perpendicular to the orientation of this unwrapped thread. Okay, so all these particles are moving vertically. As you can see, this particle P is moving in vertically upward direction, which is perpendicular to the orientation of this string. Okay. Now orientation of string will start changing as the time passes, and at this instant the point of contact is A. So instantaneous point of contact is A, which is also the instantaneous center of rotation for all the particles on the unwrapped part of the string. So all the particles of the unwrapped part of the string, they are moving in circular path, and instantaneous center of their circle is at A. Okay, so the entire unwrapped string is doing fixed axis rotation about this immediate point of contact, which is A. Okay, and this point of contact will keep on changing, so it will not remain A. The point of rotation or instantaneous center of rotation will keep on changing as the string will start wrapping up in this cylinder. So the angular velocity of this string AB at this instant can be calculated. It will be equal to omega, and this omega will be equal to V naught by L naught. V naught is the velocity of this end, and this has to be equal to R into omega. So radius of the instantaneous circle is L naught for this particle B. So the particle is moving in circular path instantaneously with center at A. Okay, and its instantaneous center of rotation will keep on changing. So its instantaneous center is at A at this instant, and its angular velocity is V naught by L naught. Okay, V naught is its linear speed and L naught is the radius. So angular velocity is V upon R, which is V naught by L naught. So at this instant, angular velocity of the string is V naught by L naught. Now what is the linear velocity of P? Linear velocity of P can be calculated. It will be omega into x. X is distance of P from immediate point of contact. So the linear velocity of P will be equal to Vp, which will be equal to omega into x. So velocity of point P will be V naught by L naught into x. Now point P is moving. So as you can see in this figure, I have shown the orientation of the string at two different instants. So at initial instant, the string was horizontal, and at any later instant, it is making some angle with the horizontal. So its orientation has changed. Okay. So at some next instant or at some later instant, its orientation is shown by this red line. So point P, which was moving perpendicular to the string, which was the vertically upward direction initially, will also change its direction of motion, as you can see here. So point P is moving in curvilinear path. So its speed and direction both are changing. Now at initial instant, the speed of point P is perpendicular to the length of the string. So it is in vertically upward direction. So this direction is similar to the direction of this radius vector, which is the line joining point of contact and center. So direction, so AO represents, so what is AO? AO represents a direction along which the particle is moving at the initial instant. So AO, which is the radius vector for the cylinder at initial instant, is the tangential direction for the motion of point P. Because what is tangential direction? After all, it is the direction along which the particle is moving. So AO at any instant represents the tangential direction, which is the AO, which is the radius at initial instant, represents the tangential direction. So radial direction or normal direction is perpendicular to the tangential direction. So PA will represent the radial direction at initial instant. Similarly, at any later instant, this OC, so the string has moved by an angle delta theta. So the orientation of the string has changed by delta theta, and the angle between AO and OC will also be equal to delta theta. So the orientation of the string has changed by an angle delta theta. Okay. Now we have to calculate the acceleration in radial direction, which is PA, and in tangential direction, which is AO. So we have to calculate radial and tangential direction. Radial and tangential direction accelerations. So we'll calculate both the accelerations separately here. Now what I am doing here, I am trying to derive the formula for radial and tangential acceleration for a particle which is moving in some general curvilinear trajectory. So this figure shows the particle which is moving along this curved line. So at a given instant the particle is at P, and obviously the direction of motion of particle will be, the tangential direction will be along the direction of tangent to this curve at this point P. So its speed is v and it is moving in tangential direction. So the velocity of the particle can be written as its speed, which is v. So velocity vector of the particle is speed v multiplied by tau. So v is speed of the particle and tau is unit vector in tangential direction. So velocity v can be written as speed into tau. Now as the particle is moving, in general case its speed may change, and the tangential direction, it will also change its direction, so tau will also change. Okay. So v and tau both will be functions of time. So I know acceleration is the time derivative of velocity vector. So acceleration can be written as dv by dt, which is nothing but d by dt of v into tau. So if I use product tool for differentiation here, I will get a is equal to dv by dt, dv scalar by dt, which is d by dt of speed multiplied by tau, unit vector in tangential direction, plus v into differentiation of unit vector in tangential direction. So now this d tau by dt, we will see how we can find out what is d tau by dt. So the first term, so acceleration contains two terms. The first term is pretty much straightforward. It is the term of tangential acceleration, which is basically dv by dt in tangential direction. Okay, so this is the tangential acceleration, which is dv by dt, which is time derivative of speed. Now second term is v into d tau by dt. Now let us find out what is d tau by dt, d tau cap by dt. Now remember that this is d by dt of a vector. So tau is a vector whose magnitude is constant but direction is changing. So if its direction is changing, then the vector is changing with time. Vector is not constant, although its magnitude is constant. Now let us find out what is this d tau by dt. So suppose the initial direction of the vector is shown by this horizontal red line, tau, and the particles, this was also the particles direction of motion, particles initial direction of motion. So after some time, after dt time, the particle speed will change and its direction may also change in a general case. So in this particular case, the particle's direction has changed by an amount d theta. So now this tau, this line, this tau, the second tau is basically the direction of motion of the particle at the new instant, at the next instant. Now what is d tau? D tau is change in tangential vector. So d tau will be tau final minus tau initial. So tau final minus tau initial will be this vector, the vector joining heads of these two, initial vector and final vector, because this tau initial plus d tau should be equal to tau final. So this vector, which I have shown using this green line, represents d tau vector. So d tau vector is, now we'll see in next slide that this d tau vector, its direction is perpendicular to the tau vector, and its magnitude can be written as magnitude of tau vector into d theta, where d theta is infinitely small amount by which the particle has changed its direction. So what we'll do, our main aim is to find out this d tau by dt. So let us see how we can find out d tau by dt. So now, as you can see in this figure, this was tau initial OA and this is tau final. Now both these vectors, tau initial and tau final, they have equal magnitudes, which is unity because both of them are unit vectors, but their direction is not same. Their they are making an angle, infinitely small angle d theta. So now basically d tau vector is this horizontal line, green color line, okay, which is also the straight line AB, the vector represented by this straight line AB. Now, as d theta is tending towards 0, these 2 points A and B are coming closer and closer to each other. Now, if I draw a circle of unit radius whose center is at O, then point A and point B will be on the periphery of that radius. And as I am making d theta small and small, these points A and B are coming closer to each other. And what will happen? The length AB, the length of the straight line AB and length of the arc AB, they will become more or less equal as d theta is tending towards 0. So as I am making d theta tending towards 0, what I am doing, I am making, what is happening actually, the the length of the straight line AB and the length of the arc AB, they are coming closer and closer to each other and both will be approximately equal. So as d theta is tending towards 0, d tau, magnitude of d tau will be equal to length of this arc AB, which is nothing but radius times d theta. So this is L, length of arc AB is L, so L is equal to r theta. So d tau length will be equal to tau into d theta, which is also equal to d theta. Now, one more thing, as A and B are coming closer to each other, this d tau, the angle between this horizontal line, which is represented by d tau vector here, and this line, this radius vector OA, it is coming closer to 90 degree. So as A and B are coming closer to each other, the d tau vector, this d tau vector and this OA vector are becoming perpendicular to each other, because as I am bringing A and B closer to each other towards this point, what is happening? I am making this line OA more close to the vertical direction. The direction is getting closer to vertical direction. So as d theta is tending towards 0, this d tau vector is becoming perpendicular to tau, and the magnitude of d tau vector is becoming closer and closer to d theta. It is becoming closer and closer to mod of tau into d theta, and mod of tau is 1, so it is becoming closer and closer to d theta. So d tau vector can be written as d theta, which is the magnitude of this vector, times direction, unit vector along the direction. So r cap is basically unit vector in, r cap as I have written here is unit vector in radial direction. So d tau vector, which is this vector, can be written as its magnitude into a unit vector in it along its direction, which is d theta multiplied by r cap. So d tau vector is nothing but d theta multiplied by r cap. Now net acceleration is d theta by dt into tau cap plus v into d tau by dt. This I have derived here. So I am borrowing this expression from this slide to the next slide. So A net will be equal to dv by dt into tau cap plus v into d tau by dt. So A is dv by dt into tau cap plus v. Now d tau can be written as d theta into r cap. So this expression will become A. This expression will become equal to A equal to dv by dt into tau cap plus v into d theta by dt into r cap. So as you can see, the net acceleration will have two components. The first term represents the component in tangential direction. Tau cap is a unit vector in tangential direction, and second term represents the component in radial direction, because r cap is a unit vector in radial direction. So at any instant, I can divide my motion in two directions. First is tangential direction and another one is radial direction. So tangential acceleration is dv by dt, okay, which is magnitude of first term, magnitude of this first vector, and radial acceleration is v d theta by dt. This is radial or normal acceleration, v into d theta by dt. Now let us see. So this is the final expression that we have derived here. Okay. So this is the formula that I will use in next slides, okay, to calculate the answer of the problem, the original problem. let us see how I can use this to find out the answer to the problem. Now, as you can see, this was the original problem. Now, string was initially horizontal, and suppose after time dt, the string has changed its orientation by an angle d theta. Now, the angle by which the string has changed its orientation is d theta, and the angle between initial radius vector, so this radius vector is nothing but the line joining center of the cylinder and point of contact. So initial line joining center of the cylinder to the point of contact, and the final line joining center of the cylinder to the point of contact will make an angle d theta, and this d theta is similar to the angle between initial orientation of the string and final orientation of the string. So this d theta and this d theta will be similar here. Now tau initial is initial tangential direction. So initial direction of motion of the point P is similar to tau initial. As you can see, this tau initial vector and this Vp vector initial direction of motion of point P are similar. Similarly, tau final represents the final tangential direction or final direction of motion of this point. Now, initial angular velocity is v0 by l0. This we have discussed earlier also. Initially, it is moving with some angular velocity omega, and omega is v0 by l0. v0 is the velocity of this particle, l0 is length of this string. Now, we will calculate radial component of acceleration, or the component of acceleration perpendicular to the velocity in this particular part, okay, or using this figure. So Vp is equal to omega into x. So velocity of this particle P can be written as omega into x. Omega into this x. Now Vp is equal to omega is v0 by l0. So Vp is equal to v0 by l0 into x. Now d theta is the angle by which the particle has changed its direction, because this was initial tangential direction and this is final tangential direction, and d theta is the angle between the two directions. So d theta is also the angle by which the particle has changed its direction, okay, or direction of motion of the particle has changed. Okay. Now d theta is this angle as well as this angle, okay, but I know that d theta by dt is equal to omega. Omega is the angular velocity with which this string is rotating. So d theta can be written as omega into dt. Now I know that radial component of acceleration is v into d theta by dt. This I have derived here. So this is radial component of acceleration, v into d theta by dt. Now this will be vp into omega. So radial component of acceleration is v0 square by l0 square into x. So radial component of acceleration can be written as v0 square by l0 square into x, which is vp into omega. So radial component of acceleration will be towards negative x direction, because particle is moving like this. So its radial component of acceleration will be towards this direction, which is perpendicular to the tangential direction. So this is tangential direction and this is a direction which is perpendicular to the tangential direction. So AR will be along the negative x direction. So radial acceleration is v0 square by l0 square into x along negative x direction. Now let us see how we can find out the tangential component of the acceleration, because for calculating total acceleration I need two components. One is radial component, which I have already calculated. Another one is tangential component, which I will calculate shortly. Okay? So here I am calculating the tangential component of the acceleration. Now the initial situation of the thread was horizontal. It was horizontal initially. Now after some time, suppose orientation of the thread changes by an angle theta. So if orientation of the thread changes by an angle theta, the orientation of initial radius vector, which is the line joining initial point of contact and O, and the line joining final point of contact and O, will also be theta. So theta is the amount of rotation produced in the string, or amount of rotation produced in this line, which is joining immediate point of contact and the center of the cylinder. So this, if this angle is theta, the angle of the length of the part which was unwrapped initially and which got wrapped during this time interval will be equal to r theta. So this was the initial position of the string. This is the final position of the string. String has changed its orientation by an amount theta, and the length of unwrapped part, the length of the string that got wrapped during this process onto the cylinder is equal to r into theta. So AP, if AP was x, AP is basically distance between the point whose acceleration I am trying to find out and the immediate point of contact. It was x initially, so AP was x. Then CP will be equal to x minus r theta. So this is x and this is r theta. So CP is equal to x minus r theta. Similarly, if AB was equal to L0, CB will be equal to L0 minus r theta. Why? Because this amount r theta is now, which was the part of unwrapped string, free string, is now attached to the cylinder. So initial omega will be, now the velocity of the particle will not change. Why velocity of this particle is not changing? Because tension at any instant is acting perpendicular to the direction of motion of the particle, and the work done by tension will be equal to 0. So the only force that this particle is experiencing is the force of tension, and that force is acting perpendicular to its velocity or displacement. So the tension will only change the orientation of the particle or the direction of motion of the particle. It will not change the speed of the particle. So initial angular velocity was v0 by L0. So initial angular velocity v0 by L0, and final angular velocity will be v0 by this length cb, which is L0 minus r. Okay, so I know omega initial, I know omega final. So this is also the omega as a function of theta. So omega as a function of theta can be written as v0 divided by L0 minus r theta. Now velocity of point P as a function of this theta can be written as omega into the distance of point P from instantaneous center of rotation, which is this length Cp. So Vp is omega theta into Cp. So Vp can be written as omega theta is V0 by L0 minus r theta, which I have derived here. V0 upon L0 minus r theta is omega. So omega theta is V0 upon L0 minus r theta multiplied by Cp. So Cp, this Cp also I have calculated here, which is x minus r theta. So tangential acceleration can be written as at. So at is equal to dv by dt. So which is also equal to d by dt of this entire expression. So what I have done here, I have basically calculated, what I am doing here, I am basically trying to calculate the tangential acceleration, which is dv by dt for this particle p. So d by dt of v0, now theta is changing with time. This theta is changing with time. Okay, so I will apply quotient rule here. So d by dt of f by g is g square into g times d by dt of f minus f times d by dt of g. So this is nothing but application of quotient rule. So at as a function of theta can be shown using this complicated expression. So at as a function of theta is, in denominator I have L0 minus r theta whole square, and in numerator I have L0 minus r theta into r times d by d theta by dt with a negative sign, minus x minus r theta into r multiplied by d by dt and d by dt of theta with a negative sign, and this whole multiplied by v0. Now this is a complicated expression, but I am interested in finding out the tangential acceleration at t equal to 0 when theta was also equal to 0. So I am interested in finding out tangential acceleration at t equal to 0 when theta was equal to 0. So theta is 0 at t equal to 0, and d theta by dt is omega, which is v0 by L0. So what I will do, I will put d theta by dt equal to v naught by L naught and theta equal to 0 in this expression. And finally I will get this expression, which on solving will give me at is equal to v naught square r L naught minus x by L naught cube. So this dv by dt, because it was coming out to be negative, so at was dv by dt and it was coming out to be negative, and the direction of velocity was vertically upward direction. So the direction of at will be vertically downward. Okay. So tangential acceleration is v naught square r L naught minus x by L naught cube. So this calculation is straightforward. This is just the application of quotient rule for differentiation, and then what I have done, at t equal to 0 I have put theta equal to 0 and d theta by dt equal to omega or v naught by L naught. So finally I have also got the tangential acceleration as a function of x and L naught, v naught and r. So at is v naught square r L naught minus x by L naught cube. So finally I have got tangential acceleration as well as radial acceleration. So my radial acceleration, which I calculated previously, was v naught square by L naught square into x, whereas my tangential acceleration was v naught square r into L naught minus x by L naught cube. So radial acceleration is along the negative x direction. So this is the radial direction because the particle is moving like this. So obviously its center of curvature will lie somewhere towards the left. So radial direction acceleration is towards the left, whereas tangential direction acceleration will be pointing in vertically downward direction. So net acceleration is basically, in terms of I cap and j cap, I have written here the entire expression, minus v naught square by L naught square x into I cap minus v naught square by L naught cube r into L naught minus x into j. So in this way, as you can see here, the particle P has two accelerations, one along the radial direction and one along tangential direction. So although the net force acting on this particle is 0, but because particle is massless, so it can have acceleration uh, without even experiencing zero force. So although it is experiencing zero force, but it has certain acceleration. It has now, it may sound quite strange, but the particle P has acceleration not just along the string but in the direction perpendicular to the string. So this is true for this particle P, while even if this is massless, but the same is not true for this particle, which means that this mass, the particle of mass m, it can have acceleration only in radial direction and not in tangential direction. Why? Because this particle has certain mass. If there is some acceleration in tangential direction, there has to be some force in the tangential direction. But as we can see, the only force uh, that the particle is experiencing is the force of tension, and that will be in the radial direction only. So if I put x is equal to L naught, then I will get the expression for the acceleration of this particle, which is uh, v naught by L naught, v naught square by L naught, because if you put x equal to L naught here, you will get v naught square by L naught, and tangential acceleration will be 0 because this L naught minus x will give L naught minus L naught, which is equal to 0. So this is the final expression for the net acceleration of this particle. So I hope you liked this video. Please keep on watching all the videos in my YouTube channel. I will try to bring more interesting problems in my coming videos, and we'll discuss mechanics problems, and then after that we will start discussing electrodynamics problem and some optics problem. And the problems will be very interesting, very unique, and I will try to bring the problems which you have not seen before. Okay, the problems will be new and they will be fresh. Okay. So thank you so much for watching this video. Have a good day.